Hello and welcome to Hard Copy on Channels Television. I am Kayla Magwa. Brace yourselves. We're about to be taken on a very long, very bumpy ride for the next 2 years at least. The question is, will this vehicle take its passengers to their desired destination? Ladies and gentlemen, meet the faces of the coalition ready to wrestle power away from the ruling All Progressives Congress. The coalition has taken over the reins of the 20-year-old African Democratic Congress and made former Senate President and PDP heavyweight David Mark as interim national chairman and former Osun State Governor, an APC heavyweight who also served as Minister of Interior during the Buhari administration, Rauf Aregbesola, is interim national secretary. And we were gasping at each prominent face we saw at this meeting. Peter Obi, Nasir El-Rufai, Abubakar Malami, Rotimi Amechi, Ireti Kingibe, Kenneth Okonkwo, Dino Melaye, Gabriel Suswam, Emeka Ihedioha, former Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Siddiq Abubakar, Kola Olobodiyan, John Oyegun. It was quite the event. Among those faces are very key members of the People's Democratic Party. I mean, it does feel like the end of an era. David Mark was in the PDP for 27 years. I'm not quite sure where Atiku Abubakar stands today. Is it anti-party what he's doing? Is he leaving the PDP? Is this just Nigeria's politics? Well, the PDP's acting national chairman is not smiling about this situation. At a press briefing in Abuja, FCT, Mr. Damagun said, quote, "To those contemplating leaving, I advise against it. There's no party as accommodating as ours. But if they choose to go, I wish them well, though I am confident they will return." Tonight, we speak to someone who has stood firm in the People's Democratic Party through several storms. We find out how strong his feet are and ask if the party can handle this emptying of the PDP into the ADC. We speak tonight with the man who represents Kaba, Bunu, Ijumu constituency in the House of Representatives of Nigeria, a post he was elected to in 2011. Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf joins us tonight. Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to have you here.
I mean, you're not in the House of Reps anymore.
No.
Is that
2 years now.
Do you miss it?
Yeah and no.
Are you going to go back?
Because I chose not to run for it.
Oh, you chose not to?
Yeah, I ran Senate
Okay.
in the last election, so I chose not to run rep.
So is that where you're looking at now for your next ambition as the Senate?
For now, I'm not too sure. I'm trying to look at the market space a bit.
The market space.
So for now, I'm not too sure.
Under the PDP?
Definitely.
So you are still a member of the People's Democratic Party?
By the grace of God, I'm still a member.
How does all of this look to you? It does feel like the emptying of your party into another party. And that is coming after several governors defecting, peoples in the National Assembly defecting. How does all of that feel for someone like you who has insisted that he's going to stand in the People's Democratic Party?
It's not strange, it's not new to me. I emphasize I knew this since last year, and it is not the first time. And the persons involved, majority of them will know that they're trading stock, that they will move. The moment we started having a congresses in 27 states last year, and they couldn't grab the structure in those states, by implication, presidential ticket will not be available for them. So I did the whole move.
You're referring to a person in particular, aren't you?
Yes, definitely.
Who are you referring to?
The leader, I call the coalition Atiku Ambition Coalition. And any other person that is not in that Atiku, who does not have that mindset, might just be a pound without the person knowing. It's about his ambition. I can give you.
Are you referring to Peter Obi as a pawn?
Maybe anybody who is not. And I expect Peter Obi to be more, circumspect and understand. In the last election, Peter Obi didn't want to run for presidency. He wanted to be VP to Atiku. When funds were being sold in PDP, Atiku told him to his face that he would not guarantee his VP-ship. The man was his VP in 2019. That's how he left. So if you could not guarantee, you stood by, ran through the court case when Atiku was in Dubai, and he could not say, okay, for your loyalty, we can still run the same platform. And you still throw in your support, your loyalty. Good for him. What else is that? PDP cannot become a one-man, affair of ticketing out. This is about that Obasanjo and him were candidates of the vice president of Nigeria under PDP. Before the end of first tenure of Obasanjo, he was already attempting to run against Obasanjo. And that's why the crisis started. To me, that is to tell you that how disloyal, how unpredictable he is. Because I assume, I might be wrong, I'm not God, there would have been president if he had a similar relation with Obasanjo. 2007, he might have been president.
I want to go back to that thing you said, because a lot of us thought that what happened was that Peter Obi wanted the presidential ticket itself for the People's Democratic Party. And since that presidential ticket was given to Atiku Abubakar, that was the reason why he moved to Labour Party.
He moved while we were just selling form for presidency. If you remember, when Atiku
you're saying the reason why he moved is because he wasn't even
guaranteed of a vice presidency. Coach me. If you recall, when Atiku declared his ambition to run for presidency, Peter Obi was still there with him. The forms were just being so. If Atiku had even waited a bit for forms to close, Obi would have no Labour Party to go to. But because he was so sure, because of the promises of the deals he did in 2019 with the Villa, the alleged deal, he was so sure that he will not need anybody I pick.
So you think Peter Obi is not being very wise right now in the decision
to be a part
of this coalition?
I don't know what is in his head, but I know that that coalition will end up producing an Atiku. And if it does not produce an Atiku, Atiku will not be committed to it. It's about I, myself, Nigeria Limited. It's not Atiku. I'm just giving you historical perspective. When he fell out with Obasanjo, Tinubu himself were in PFM with Yaradua. So you remember Tinubu, he went back to ACN. ACN gave him a platform in 2007. After the general election, he left them, came back to PDP. Ran primaries against Jonathan, 2011. Jonathan won. Before 2014, he left. Went to APC, believing that the relationship with the PFN group, Tinubu and Co, could still help, but those ones chose to support Buhari. He lost the primary. After the election, he came back to PDP. The PDP, don't forget, between 2015 and 2019 was a viral, very vibrant opposition platform. God remember, we had a very strong voice. But when it came to 2019, it became the party, flag bearer, by implication, the leader of the party. 2019, the House of Reps, there was, a kind of the platform or the voice of the PDP on national discourse became silent because it couldn't give leadership to the emergence of the minority caucus in the House.
We'll talk a little bit about the People's Democratic Party under the leadership, in quotes, of Atiku Abubakar. By the way, is he still a member of the PDP? I was
with Shehu a few weeks ago here, and he asked this question. I said, he moved for long.
Officially, has he left the PDP?
I'm not bothered about the official movement. The moment the moment the congresses last year didn't favor his structures, the moment he could not hijack those state congresses, I knew he had left because he will not be involved if he's not running. So he wants to run. And the congresses were a clear indication that he cannot get the ticket.
If he does officially...
It's good. It's a good way it's expected.
Is it something that, because you are still in the People's Democratic Party, still actively involved in the activities?
No, he's not.
No, you are actively involved in the politicking of the People's Democratic Party.
By the grace of God.
Well, there are people who feel if he goes, it's good riddance. And then there are people that feel like, well, with him gone, we are basically flailing.
It will be the third time he's leaving the PDP if he left there. So how can you call that failure? And how does he keep returning back? If there's nothing, because when people are leaving, they say the party is finished and we have done this. And they'll end up coming back. So if the party is finised, how come you find a house? You need to go back and stay.
Well, Mr. Daman explained it to us. He said that the People's Democratic Party is your acting national chairman. He said it's the most welcoming place. It's the place. He says all these people that are leaving will come back ultimately.
It's a party. It's the only party where no man owns the party.
Do you want them back?
Of a truth, I think that it needs to be a change in narrative and phases of leadership of the party. So we cannot be a party of the BOT members and the elders of the parties, Atiku is their contemporary. So a lot of them will always still be, because if a new ox take over the party, they will not be that relevant again. So they need to understand that, hey, change is constant. The same way you gave instruction and it was law those days can't be again. I have been 3 times in the House of Reps. When I came newly, you were there. After my 3rd time, you are still there. I'm 56 years old. I came in when I was 40-something, and I still continue. No. When you kept saying leaders of tomorrow, where would the tomorrow come? So they should understand that you take backstage by now. If people keep talking about the crisis in PDP, wickedness, I say, if Atiku ambition was not on the table after 2023 election, PDP will have rebranded itself.
So let's talk about the actual issues. But before we do that, there's a post I saw from Shehu Sani. I mean, you mentioned leaders of tomorrow, and he talked about the fact that when David Mark was governor of Niger State, that he was a boy in secondary school, and that they used to get dressed in their school uniforms to welcome him as governor, and then look at him still now, still being acting the interim national chairman of the ADC. And then people but you see, when we look at old people, let's use that word, when we look at people who've been in politics for a very long time, it's a mix and match when it comes to the thoughts people have about them. For some people, confidence is greater when I see old people in a place. If I see older people who have been in the party, like with the All Progressives Congress, like a John Oyegun would have been someone that was, this is someone who was the first national chairman, so we can trust that this party caters to the people in there. For the People's Democratic Party, we're looking at someone like David Mark, 27 years in the People's Democratic Party, which means that this is a party who's able to handle, people as they evolve and as they change, which is good for a young politician. When you have all these great people, Dele Momodu left your party. He said, in fact, in the interview that I watched him, he said categorically that we are leaving the PDP for Wike and his cronies. Are you among Wike's cronies? He
came into the party when? Dele Momodu. He came in about 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. He ran presidents, he ran presidential primary. He didn't get 1 vote as a candidate. He didn't get 1 vote. So Dele Momodu, yes, is in the media space, or in politics. He should learn to talk less.
You're saying he wasn't very helpful to the party?
Yeah, maybe he'll use this leverage on this link as a media man, but not as a politician.
What David Mark?
And for David Mark, solid, I cannot question his contribution to the party. And that's why I'm shocked. I don't know how they were able to make him take such a leap. But that jump to me, at that age, is a dangerous jump. But he's a respected elder statesman. I can't question his decision, but I chose to remain.
Yeah, Dele Momodu said they are leaving the place for Wike and his cronies. Are you among Wike's cronies?
They left the place for Wike and his cronies 2015 to 2019. Where were they when the structures of the party were being decimated? And the only people that were standing was House of Rep and the Wike. Where were they? Where was Atiku until 2019 primaries? And after the 2019 primaries, where was he until 2023 primaries? I would let some people went to see him in Dubai to engage on certain party thing in 2019. He did not call me back, he did not reach me back until he was preparing for 2023 primaries. He needed me again. So Wike, I kept telling people, Wike has a reason why he did what he did. There are some of us who want to remain in the party and still work for the party. I don't want to work for APC. But you keep saying, anybody that disagrees with you now is about Wike. But then before the election, you told us Wike was irrelevant. What is this? So how come 2 years after, it's still about Wike? We did everything to see how we could make you see reason to look at this block and say, we can bring it together and work together. But you were so convinced. The man, after primaries, people say, give him vice president. He said, no, you give to who? Those who are presidential. By implication, it wasn't presidential. They say, okay, give party chairman, sacrifice that. He said, no. And that, who is he? What do you need? And 2 years, the same man changed you out of the party. By implication, because when you keep saying Wike, so you are agreeing to the fact that that's a Wike changed you out of the party. So we must understand something that no human being is capable of delivering himself in any election. It's a collective goodwill of people. And there's nothing like overwinning an election that have so much support that this is enough, I don't need anybody. You need everybody. So that's why I look at what they are doing right now. I say, unfortunately, so sad. they might be strengthening the APC without knowing. Because most of their attention, Mamadou Gara's interview, it was PDP was attacking. So people will reply him. So it means that they will take on more PDP, PDP will take them back, rather than focusing on APC. Unfortunately, let me say this before I quit. I've not seen any one of them so far that is genuinely saying that we are moving to this coalition, we are coming to confront the APC because we want to fight hunger and what have you. It's about ambition.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about these ambitions, we'll talk about the Wike factor, and then we'll look at the PDP after this emptying. So please.
Assumed emptying.
Assumed emptying. Yeah. Please stay with us on Hard Copy. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hard Copy right here on Channels Television. If you've just tuned in, we've been speaking with Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, talking about the People's Democratic Party again, and what next for them as they go through another storm. This time, big wigs in the party leaving, and my guest says this is not a problem, that we need to focus on the parties, an opportunity to focus on who's still standing. Let's talk about the Wike factor. You said something that he said in his media chat as well. He said, this is not about the hunger of the Nigerian people. It's the hunger for power of the people that are here. These people are not hungry for food, they're hungry for power. Now, here's the thing. When we look at the People's Democratic Party, and, you know, not like I'm holding brief for Dele Momodu or anything, but many people have had that view, that the reason why the People's Democratic Party, is a plethora of reasons why the People's Democratic Party is going through a lot of issues. One of those issues is this man, this FCT minister, Yusuf Wike. And for many of them, okay, you have someone who is still in the People's Democratic Party, but works for the APC and has openly, last election, openly said, I will not support the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. That's within his rights. But what that has done is that it creates a divide. And while he's still in the People's Democratic Party, how can the party, you're still there, how can you still trust that someone who works for the opposition will build your party?
Thank you. How did we get there? I share this on different platforms. PDP normally zone to north or south. The party positions came first, and the chairman was zoned to the north. And the moment you have chairman in one side, presidency go to the other side. It was naturally believed that the presidency will come to the south. However, the committee was set up to do the zoning, chaired by the governor Tom then, the then governor. But the article structure were formidable a lot from the north. I was involved. And they insisted that it should not be zoned. So when I hear people said, I know, I won't listen to him say, if they are zoned to southeast, you wouldn't have contested. I feel like crying. There are leaders who misinform the populace to manipulate them this way. We don't zone to geopolitical zone. We zone north and south. 2, the zoning thing was done with before forms came. So he was given an impression that if they are zoned to southeast, seeing Peter Obi's vote in the election, so as to appeal to those group, that if they have been zoned to southeast, I will have run the election. He disrupted NEC because of zoning, because he said it should not be zoned. So that is where you find this crisis. So don't forget, UK is a symptom. The real cause of the crisis, we refuse to zone. And they'll come with an argument that Buhari was not in PDP, that the last person that was president under PDP was Jonathan from the south, that should come to the north. They brought the same argument in 2019. That was why all those who ran presidential primary in Port Harcourt under PDP were from the north. So, did Buhari rule APC country or Nigeria?
We understand this. We have heard this
hold on.
Many times.
I'm going to reach. So, Wike now belong to that group who say, oh, because you did not zone, you have flouted the rules, the constitution of the party, that there's no basis for me to be loyal to you. Then the people went into negotiation. I played a lot of roles trying to see how we could breach this. but you could see arrogance. Arrogance. This conviction that is done. We have won, just like they're doing now. The election is done, PDP is dead. The same way, the same approach, no less in land.
So where do things stand with you and the national chairman? Do you, because that's another contention in the People's Democratic Party, the office of this national chairman right now, Mr. Damagun's office?
There's a committee set up already for zoning. They will zone.
Are you okay with him as acting national chairman?
That the constitution of our party says when the chairman, substantial chairman is not there, the next person in hierarchy from that zone, Ayu was the chairman. Ayu was taken, the next person was Damagu. So that is the national chairman.
What about this office of national secretary?
National secretary?
Yes.
It was, see, the plethora of, judgment and what have you. It was ego trip by some people, and by those who are doing coalition, lash on that, believing that they will sustain that fight. Those who want to run the election in PDP will get discouraged out of fear. They will join them in coalition. They were already working on coalition. So there was no basis for that crisis of, okay, let's even assume that there's basis for it. His tenure expires in November. So why fighting for 4 months? There's zoning committee already. I don't have the report yet, but the information at my disposal is that they'll still maintain the same position that in the north and in the south, but not in the state that they are now. By implication, if secretary is going to south, it will not be in Imo. So you have zoned him out. So why are you fighting to the point he got to where he got to? There were those who felt their ego were bruised, and what, I don't know, and there are those who were working for the coalition to make sure. So let me come back to the Wike thing. I repeat, I am working for PDP. Wike has his reason, is why he took his position. I can question him. He has a right to it, because you can't put nothing on nothing. The moment the fundamentals that makes a party is breached, you cannot now be treating the reaction, because we all react to things in different ways. There are those who go into their shell when they are being hit. There are those who cry. There are those who confront the situation and say, hey, all die and I die. We die here. So why did you allow one man's ambition to get us into that?
You've answered my question in some ways. But ultimately, how can you trust that this man, Minister Nyesom Wike, who openly in the last election told you he's not going to support the person that the party is presenting, and now works for the opposition? How can you trust that someone in that position? I know that it has happened in the past.
How can you be people of trust? He said he's not working for you. How do you not be doubting?
But he's one of the people who are considered the reason why you've lost 24 states. Let me explain that. Many people believe Peter Obi had 12 states in the last election, as did Atiku. You've lost those 2 people.
I don't understand.
You don't think that it's a loss that you've lost?
Peter being PDP.
He was in the PDP.
So because of
the plan was that he was going to come back. They were trying to put him back into the PDP.
No, that is the narrative I only want to clear. There are those who are with them. In fact, before 2023 election, there are those who wanted to work against APC, who said they wanted PDP to rebrand, change his name, or move to another party. So what you're saying now is not about Peter Obi coming to PDP. The obedience and what have you, they wanted to come to PDP.
Okay.
They are now looking at how to form another party. So they cry, forget the narrative.
So let's even leave Peter Obi out.
But let me
hold on a second. Let's leave Peter Obi out. Atiku is 12 states.
What does that lead to? 2019.
So who is going
in 2019, what did that produce for us?
In 2023.
In 2020, what did that produce for us?
He gave you more governors than you have right now.
No, he gave us more governors.
Yes.
We had how many governors in 2014 when he left us? And took 5 with him. How can you now be ascribing to the man who was the foundation of the challenge? Look at what you're doing. You are treating the symptom, forgetting that we started from somewhere. You now got into the middle. You saw a man's reaction. It's not the main issue. So this man has now become the democratic face of Nigeria. He wants to rescue Nigeria from this. What have you? My dear, I am not speaking for Wike. I will do PDP. He says he's not doing PDP. He's doing it. I will not trust him with PDP structure. That when we have a presidential candidate now, I assume Wike to work for, I will not. But I will not join you on your folio, your journey to satisfy your ambition. all the time. If you was able to take the structure of the party, will he leave? Let's be sincere with ourselves. If the Congress is at favor of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, will he leave? No. So it's a simple thing that you lost out and you're moving, because it means that you are not sure, you are not guaranteed of the ticket of the party. And some of us, which wiki or no wiki, we don't want you. I don't want Atiku to have my ticket again.
Does the PDP have a formidable candidate right now?
A formidable
that can stand Tinubu
before
in 2027?
before the general election 2023, was Peter Obi a formidable candidate? Was he? So politics is not 2 plus 2.
You're not answering my question.
I'm trying to make you understand
Does
is
the
that
PDP
don't
have-
look, we have.
Ooh.
Because, thank you very much. That's why I'm asking, I reply you the way I replied you. That before 2023 election, was Peter Obi a formidable candidate? No.
Should the Nigerian people trust the PDP
Believe
to be
me.
a viable opposition and
Believe
ready
me,
to
but
present
believe me,
a candidate that they can trust in 2027?
I tell you, seated there, that's the best alternative for Nigerians, PDP. The APC is
How?
enjoying
Why?
this
How
kind
is
of...
it? How is it the best alternative for the
Go and
Nigerian?
check Nigeria pre and post PDP. Just go. Check the data. Major opposition you had on the floor there were PDP members who will say, no, we do not agree to this.
So this
That
is a party that can deliver.
And we will still deliver. Because I have a conviction that this APC cannot take us to El Dorado.
And this ADC?
ADC, I mean, I don't want to worry myself about ADC, of a truth. I don't want to worry myself. I don't want to talk about certain people there. Like I said, the chairman, the interim chairman, David Mark, respect, whatever. But he's in journey he might not understand.
And you're not leaving the PDP?
By the grace of God, I am staying back.
I want to thank you very much for being with us on Hard Copy.
It's a pleasure.
And good luck with all the work you have ahead of you.
Thank you.
That's Hard Copy this week. I'm Kayla Megwa. Good night.